And we're live. Hello, all, and welcome. And I am the Realist Philosopher, and this is the Realist Philosopher live stream that doubles as a call-in show, if and when I remember to open Skype. All right, and there we go. Skype is open. There's no longer a phone number, but you can still call in using Skype. So if you have Skype on your laptop or you'd like to call in, just download Skype. It's very easy to use, very convenient program. It's had a bad rap in the past, but it's actually pretty good. It doesn't run in the background, so yeah, doesn't take up a lot of space. So if you'd like to call in and you have Skype, I am the Realist Philosopher. So Skype, the Realist Philosopher, if you'd like to talk to me about whatever I'm discussing on the show or anything else that suits your fancy. All right, so what I'd like to talk about first, I'd like to just jump right into it, is what happened with Notre Dame, okay? Now, for those of you who are not living under a rock, you know that the cathedral had a major fire. The spire burnt down. It turned out there wasn't any type of water suppression system up in some of the rafters or something that were ancient wood. Seems suspicious to me. There was construction going on. They're doing some renovations, and apparently the fire started several minutes after the construction company working on the site shut down, which I find a little suspicious, actually. Almost as if somebody snuck in, perhaps, when everybody else was exiting, or perhaps one of the workers did something right before they left, something with a delay of some kind, or maybe they started something before they left. I don't know. What I do know is that construction companies that work on ancient sites like this have very high standards. They have extremely high safeguards, meaning that these kind of companies are specialty companies used to working on very old sites. They are specialty companies because they have to have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge in how to work with and maintain old properties, okay? So they're going to have to go through a lot of regulatory hoops. They're going to have a lot of safeguards in place to prevent just this type of thing. So it seems very unlikely to me that this was an accident, okay? It seems very, very unlikely. It seems much more likely, actually, that it was not an accident, that it was arson. That's what it seems like to me. Now, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, of course. Anything's possible. Maybe it wasn't arson. Maybe it was actually an accident. Sure, the accident angle is possible. But again, I don't think it's an accident, honestly. There have been a lot of attacks on Catholic churches, Christian churches in the area over the past few months, and the number of attacks on such sites since they've been letting Muslim refugees into the country has skyrocketed. Skyrocketed. These types of attacks are happening all over the country. So I am of the opinion that this was not in any way, shape, or form an accident. Now, of course, if it was arson, you're probably not going to know. You'll probably never know the truth because this is the same government, European governments, that hide the crimes of Muslims, that tell you that there are no such thing as no-go zones. We don't have any no-go zones. No, we don't have any Muslim rape gang problem. Oh, no. So, these people are not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to tell you the truth for fear of inciting what they call racism. You mean animus toward a particular section of a population that is burning shit down and vandalizing stuff? Isn't that animus that I should be having? But you want to label it as racism, so I therefore won't take a look at it? Or get rightfully afraid? Okay. Yeah, but I'm of the opinion it was some kind of arson, and I don't think we'll ever know the truth. I don't think we will ever know the truth. But that's all I have to say on that, really. I don't want to go on too much about that. It's not really something that interests me greatly. I have a passing interest, but... So let's move on to something a little more lighthearted and humorous. So for those of you who follow my content, you know that, I think it was last week, maybe it was the week before, I don't remember. I commented on Charlize Theron, talking about how she's shockingly single. I'm shockingly single, boys. Get ready. Get your ball sacks. Go get your balls wherever you left them. Did your mommy cut them off? Go get them. Go get them from mommy. Sack up and ask me out. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This broad, I really don't like her. I mean, besides the fact that she's a single mother and she's never been married, and she doesn't have any of her own kids, by the way. She just adopted a bunch of kids. Well, that's enough. That's enough for me to dislike her, okay? Single mothers are a plague on this planet. Not necessarily because of the single motherhood. It's very interesting. People think that it's automatically just because somebody is a single parent, because such as widows don't fall into the category of single parents or single mothers or single fathers. They're widows, right? It's a very different thing. Essentially, it's the type of person you are that leads to you becoming a single mother, that makes you so toxic to your child. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't help that you don't have a father around, of course. But being the type of person that would embrace that type of situation is what's the problem. Essentially, people who become single parents are people who have very poor judgment, very poor impulse control, very low IQs. These types of people don't make great parents, especially not with another parent there to backstop them and fill in whatever gaps they might have in regards to parenting skills or intelligence or judgment or impulse control. But anyway, yeah, I don't like this broad. I don't like her. She thinks she's all that in a bag of chips. You men out there need to date me. I'm shockingly single. Why is it I can't find a man? I only have 2 kids. I think it's 2. So last week she went on. This is shocking to me. So she went on some news show and said that she's been single for 10 years. And she's tired of being single. And she wants a man. She needs a man. And I would think she needs a man if she's going on a friggin' TV talk show, TV news show, one of these nighttime rags, like Entertainment Tonight bullshit, and talking about how she wants to date and can't find a man. That's need, okay? That's desperation for you to go that far. And now, this is great. Now she's complaining again because she's got too many dating offers. Oh, this is great. This is fucking fabulous. I love this shit. Ask and ye shall receive, and then ye receives and you don't want it. I take it back. I don't want to date. This is great. So Charlize Theron, after going on TV last week, or was it the week before? I don't know. Going on TV and saying that she wanted men to ask her out, has been inundated with offers of dates with from fans after declaring that she's shockingly single. Okay, first of all, we don't know that all these people are fans, okay? I love how they use the word fans to imply that these are all unhinged people who are beneath her, and unhinged because they're fans. And they're only asking her out because they're fans, and fans that would do this are unhinged. So, she's justified in not accepting any of their offers, of course. I love it. I love it. She's got standards. She's got standards, man. Excuse me. This is like a poor homeless person with no job, no money, walking into a gourmet restaurant and saying, I want fucking... Jesus Christ. Sorry. I want Dom Perignon and caviar, bitch. Got any money? No. No currency of any kind? No. Nothing? Not even a gold tooth we could pull out and use as currency? No. What the fuck? Talk about ridiculously high expectations. Boy, I mean, if there were still people pumping gas, You know how you go into the full service station? They used to have full service stations when I was a kid. You go into the full service station, they would squeegee down your windshield, they would check the pressure, tire pressure in your cars, they'd check your oil, they'd check your windshield wiper fluid, they'd check it all. It was great. It was great. And they would pump your gas too. You don't have that anymore. Don't have that anymore. Well, that's the kind of guy that she should expect to get. The full service guy. Meh. Okay. He's not some highfalutin fucking Hollywood actor, but, you got no money. You're broke. So, yeah, you should take whatever you can get. Now, for a woman, her currency is her looks. Her looks are gone. Now, of course, she's a dope, and she's a feminist, so she thinks that I'm just like a man. I think a lot of the reason that women want to be equal to men, and they want to equalize the sexes and socially engineer everything to the point where men and women have the same kind of standards and care about the same kind of things, is so that they can substitute having money and resources for having looks, because they're so lazy and they get old. And they don't want to have to work to keep good looking, right? And they want to be able to get old and still be able to get a quality man. What they don't understand is none of this stuff is socially engineered. It's all based in biology. So you can try all you want, Charlize Theron. Feminist cunt. To transform the world. And to make it so that men actually care about fucking money over your looks. But you know what? Not gonna work. Not gonna work, sweetheart. Yeah. I mean, you'll get offers for dates, but they're gonna be losers. And you should be happy with one of those losers. But, she's not happy. I bet some of these guys are decent guys, even. Not losers at all, but they're not the creme de la creme, and I'm Charlize Theron. So as she promoted her new movie Long Shot recently, Charlize told Entertainment Tonight that she was looking for love. It's very interesting. So she wants men to look past her foibles, her old granny age, 43-year-old broad. She wants them to look past all these things that they care about. All right? And see her and her true beauty. See past my looks and my appearance and my old age and my 2 kids. And the fact I've never been married. And the fact that I'm a radical intersectional feminist. Look past all that and see me. See me. But I can't see you because you don't make enough money. Hilarious. The hypocrisy of it. She said, I've been single for 10 years. Somebody just needs to grow a pair and step up. I'm shockingly single. See, this is the part I love. The arrogance of this broad. That she thinks it's shocking to all of us that she's single. She to herself is shocked. She's shocked she's single. That tells you all you need to know about her. She has this idea of herself. She has a self-image that's a 10. I'm a 10 and a sack of gold coins, baby. I'm so great. Now, a man's view of her is about 4 or 5, and the kids bring it down to a 3. Not interested. Of course, she thinks it's more important what she thinks, right? It's my view of myself that's more important. I don't need to know what's going on in the head of a man. Do you want a man? Yeah, I want a man. Wouldn't it help to know what they want? That sound right before your fucking computer crashes and you get blue screen. Does that compute? In an interview with E.T., reporter Kevin Frazier told the actress that he had received numerous offers from hopeful fans and played her a video message from a man called Doug. Hi, Charlize, Doug from Kansas City. I do have a pair. I am stepping up. She's not interested in you, Doug. You're a loser. You must be a loser to send her a message like that. She's too highfalutin. She's above such things. I love it. So she's not above going on TV and telling men to grow a pair, right? But she's too good to go out with Doug. Yeah, in response to the message from the silver-haired fox. Oh, silver-haired fox. Oh, he's old. I can't help it. It's too funny. So she's old for a woman. But you know, okay, I don't know how old Doug is. Maybe Doug is 80. That might be a problem. Okay, I really wouldn't blame her for that. But so in response to the message, Charlize's long shot co-star Seth Rogen giggled and said he seems like a nice guy before Charlize added, "What a nice man," and thanked him for his interest. I have no doubt, by the way, that she herself got tons and tons of offers to go out on dates. You know, from people who ferreted out her email or just left them on message boards, maybe connected to the movie and such. How many of those people do you think she answered? A big fat whopping 0. I mean, come on. This broad can afford a bodyguard, right? She could hire some big gorilla dude, 300-pound black guy with a big fucking gun to be her chaperone to go out with some of these crazies, and maybe some of them are good people. But no! Kevin then asked Charlize to sign a picture of herself to send to Doug, to which she happily obliged. This broad ain't looking for no man. She ain't serious about finding anybody. Come on. Meanwhile, in a new interview with Extra, Charlize explained that her search for love isn't as urgent as she initially suggested. Right. Stop contacting me, losers. I have my high standards. I only want to go out with a rich, successful man who runs in the same circles as I do, you know, because I live in this little fucking bubble, and you'll never see me out in public, okay? So I want somebody who runs in the same circles. I want somebody who I run into at the fucking Oscars, at the Emmys, okay? At the Golden Globes to ask me out. I don't want you. It's wonderful. Really? Okay, honey. She said, I'm going to finish this press tour, then I'm going to shoot a movie in London, and I'm figuring like around September we'll talk about this again. She laughed. Wow. Oh, how does she raise her kids like this, by the way? She's running all over the fucking world. See, I hate women like this. Isn't this precisely why you can't find, well, it's part of why you can't find a man. You're an old, nasty, broad, feminist man-hater. Got a lot to do with it. There's another reason you can't find a man. You're bebopping all over the fucking globe. You got your kids as a fucking accessory, like a Gucci bag or something. You know, I'm getting old and I feel unfulfilled. I need some kids to complete me. Yes, I need kids to fill those empty spaces inside me and make me feel like my life has some meaning. And, you know, I'm an empowered wayman who don't need a man. Can't find a man. So, I should have all the bells and whistles that a grown wayman is supposed to have. So I think I'll adopt some poor kids from Somalia or something. I have to wonder what kind of life these guys, I mean, granted, if they're from some poor third world shithole, they're probably going to have a better life with her than they would there, but not that much better, really, because they're going to get very little attention from her and be raised by nannies, which is probably the case. You'll never be around. You'll be bopping all over the place. What man wants that for his girlfriend? Yeah. She last dated so Stuart Townsend in 2009, and then some other dude. I think she might have banged Brad Pitt, but just some booty call service, nothing serious. It's great. I love it. She hits pause on date offers, of course. Of course, because when she gets what she wants, then she doesn't want it. This is also very telling because it shows you the truth. That the problem isn't the men, it's her. And she doesn't want to face that. I don't want to deal with that. No, I'm really not that desperate, okay? Now she changes her tune because I don't want to face the reality that I'm a fucked up broad that nobody wants to be around, okay? That the problem is not you, it really is me. It's great. Well done, Charlize. You got what you wanted, and you still blew it. You blew it! I really can't stand broads like this. Can't fucking stand them. Can't stand ya! Costanza! Can't stand ya! It's a Seinfeld reference for those of you who are fans of the show. All right, moving on. Wow. Alyssa talk about a has-been. Are any of you familiar with Alyssa Milano? She's all over the fucking news. She's one of those actors championing the the movement to boycott Georgia. She wants all of Hollywood to boycott Georgia, even though Georgia gives huge tax breaks to Hollywood movies that shoot there. Well, she wants the entirety of Hollywood to boycott Georgia, which isn't going to happen because, come on, when it comes to saving money, that's all they really care about, okay? That's all these socialists really care about is money. They have no scruples. They have no morals, okay? They're amoral people. In many cases, immoral. They don't really care about these causes, okay? Those are just power grabs. When it comes to actually having to give up some dough or stand for their morals, well, no, they're not going to give up the dough. They're not going to give up the dough and stand for their morals, all right? Well, I know we said we would boycott Georgia, but... yeah, they're not going to boycott Georgia. Come on. Give me a break. They wanted to do this because Georgia has introduced a heartbeat bill for abortion that says if you can hear a heartbeat, if the doctor can put a stethoscope on the lady's stomach and hear a heartbeat, then she can't get an abortion, which I'm all for, by the way. It's about time that you ladies started being held accountable for your actions. Now, Alyssa Milano wants to share her personal abortion stories on her podcast. She has a podcast? Well, I guess that makes sense. She no longer has a face for TV, that's for sure. How much cocaine did this broad use when she was filming in Hollywood or New York or wherever? It's either Hollywood or New York. I don't know. She wasn't even on TV that much. I know she was on that movie, on that TV show Charmed. And back in the 80s, she did that Who's the Boss when she was a kid, but that's about it. Has she done anything recently? But she looks coked out, man. She looks almost as bad as that Rose McGowan. Of course, that Rose McGowan, she takes the cake there. she gets the Lindsay Lohan Award for hitting the wall the hardest. Fuck me. Well, Lindsay Lohan, of course. You know, she's the progenitor of that award. I don't think anybody will ever beat her. But anyway, so the far-left actress, Alyssa Milano, has launched a new podcast. Kind of like The View, I guess. Man-hating, but without having to look at a bunch of big, fat, bitter, ugly old broads like Whoopi Goldberg. The last dick she had was Ted Danson. Back when he filmed that horrible movie where he was a car salesman. I don't know how she got that. Whoopi has never been a good-looking broad. Oh, boy. Anyway, yeah, new podcast where women will have the chance to share their personal abortion stories with the world. What is this? We're celebrating deviancy now? Look, okay? You want to get an abortion and it's legal, that's fine. Whatever. But don't celebrate it, okay? You know, it's legal to smear yourself in your own shit and go run around on the street babbling incoherently. That's legal. You can do that. It's disgusting. It's highly objectionable behavior. I don't want to see that. It's shameful, but it's legal. You want to do it? Yeah, okay. But people are going to call you out on it, as you should be. Do that in your own house. Rub yourself down in shit or whatever. You know, you like to play scat games. Good for you. Yeah, dance around your house. Covered in shit. Whatever. But I wouldn't think that you would do a podcast talking about this. By the way, I wouldn't be surprised if there were scat podcasts out there on the deep net or something. Some weird shit. So the podcast named Sorry, Not Sorry. How clever. Points out the fact that 1 in 4 women in the U.S. will have an abortion by the time they're 45. And you're thinking that's a good thing? Have you taken into account, Mrs. Milano, that white people are well below replacement rates and the only people who are breeding enough to not only be above replacement rates, but to be well above are black people and Latino people? Meanwhile, white people are disappearing. Don't you think that we could have used those kids? Don't you think we could use another 50 million white people in America? No! Whiteness is a disease! I'm sure she believes that, too. I'm sure she believes that and hates herself because she's white. If you'd like to share your personal abortion story on my podcast to help shine a light on the importance of bodily autonomy. Yeah, my body, my choice. Except it's not your body, is it? It's another person's body that just happens to be in you. Please record the story on your voice memo app. Yeah, that's an awful lot of trouble to go through. And email it to the below address. Oh, it's not even a live show. Great. If you'd like to remain anonymous, please say so in your email or send you a fake name. You could do that instead of give this broad your real name. Oh, my God. Milano's new project comes at a time when she and other Hollywood figures are railing against Georgia's new heartbeat bill. Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, Hollywood is really going to stand on some moral high ground and lose a bunch of money. I don't think so. Which seeks to outlaw abortions in the state as soon as a fetal heartbeat can be detected. In the campaign against the bill, Milano has joined over 100 figures in the entertainment industry in pledging to boycott the state should Republican Governor Brian Kemp sign the bill into law. Whoop-de-friggin-do. Go ahead, boycott him. You're not going to, by the way. Okay, you're a bunch of actors, okay? You're a bunch of privileged actors. You don't make the decisions in Hollywood, thank God. You people have no head for business. You're all a bunch of moron, leftist liberals. If you didn't have acting ability, you'd be living in a box somewhere because you'd be too lazy to work. Or you'd be working in a fucking coffee bar as a barista. Or a taco bar like Ocasio-Cortez. Would you like a taco with that beer? I could be a congresswoman. Woo-hoo-hoo. So, the Netflix insatiable star, I don't know what that is, has previously denounced the state's authorities as totally corrupt. Okay. This coming from a Hollywood actress, all right. I bet she was going up and down on Harvey Weinstein's knob a time or two. After Kemp defeated Democratic challenger Stacey Abrams in last November's gubernatorial election by a small margin in a contest Democrats falsely claim was rigged. There are over 20 productions shooting in Georgia, she recently complained. Is the entertainment industry willing to support the economy of a totally corrupt state? Well, where's your evidence that they're corrupt? I love leftists. They just make these spurious claims without evidence, just to smear their enemies. She's a communist, critical theorist. I hate this broad. Are they willing to support a totally corrupt state? This is somebody from Hollywood, mind you. That suppresses democracy. We don't live in a democracy, you dummy. It's a constitutional republic. I know you're too stupid to know the difference. Where the winner isn't the best choice for the people, but the best schemer or crook. You would have no problem with a schemer or crook being in there if they did what you wanted. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that's who you're dealing with. Alyssa Milano, a.k.a. has-been hack. Oh, I hate this broad. Lefty Hollywood types. Oh, boy. Yeah, so what do you think about Alyssa Milano? Let me know by contacting me via Skype. Oh, I got to open Skype. I opened it earlier, but there was a malfunction or something. Okay. Now it's full screen. This is weird. All right, there we go. For some reason, it's full screen. Well. All right, so if you'd like to contact me via Skype, you can do so. Let me know your thoughts. My Skype name is The Realist Philosopher. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Tired of talking about Alyssa Milano. She used to be a hot-looking broad. I would have banged that ass 25 years ago, man, but meh, not so much now. She looks real bad. Is it like a prerequisite in Hollywood that you do cocaine? It seems like it's a prerequisite that you do drugs in Hollywood. I don't get that. I don't get that. All right. So, next. Oh, this is interesting. Charlize Theron ought to read this. It turns out that sexual liberation isn't all that liberating. I've talked about this ad infinitum, about how women thought that they would be freed to be happy once they got out of the oppressive traditional expectations of a marriage and kids. Yeah, what are you liberating yourself from, ladies? Having children that love you? Grandchildren that love you? Future meaning in your life after you were retired from your crappy paper shuffling job that you're trying to use to replace something that would give you actual meaning? Is that what you're trying to liberate yourself from? A husband that loves you and will support you and be there with you through thick and thin? I don't need that. I've got cats. And they love me unconditionally. Yeah, but there's not a lot of meaningful dialogue going on there. And the cats really love you. I mean, come on. They don't even come when you call their fucking names, right? At least the majority of the time. They do what they want. They crap and piss all over the place. You can't take them for a walk. You seen those videos? You seen some videos of people trying to take their cats for walks, and they're just dragging this rope, and the fucking cat is lying there almost lifeless on the ground, being pulled along the sidewalk on its side. They're useless, these animals. But he loves me unconditionally. Yeah, I don't think so. Dogs might. Dogs actually show affection, but cats, no. If the cat was your size, it would eat you, honey, okay? And when you die, it will. Yeah, that's how much love it has for you. When you die alone in your shit-covered, cat urine-stained house, those cats will feed on you, all right? That's how much they love you. All right, so, excuse me. Jesus. Springtime. I've got allergies. Over at The Atlantic, the Bradford, Wilcox, and Lyman Stone have penned a fascinating piece exploring the roots of American unhappiness and tying it to our nation's sex recession, a rather marked decrease in sexual activity by young adults. But I thought you ladies had your toys. You got that drawer full of dildos, don't you? Meanwhile, us men, if we have sex dolls, we're misogynists. Yeah, okay. So the share of young adults having sex at least once a week has fallen from 59% in 1972. Imagine that. Exactly the same time when rabid, crazy feminism took hold in America. Methinks there might be a correlation to 49% in 2018. This decline is far steeper among men. Well, yeah, of course. Women, even big fatties, they can go on chubby chaser forums and find men, all right? But men, not so much. Down from 58% of young men having sex at least weekly in 2010 to just 43% in 2018. That's not good. That's not good. And the share of young adults reporting no sex in the past year has risen as well. Now at 22% for young men and 14% for young women. I would have thought it would be closer to 0 for young women. I guess the 14% of the big fatties, I guess they don't realize there's chubby chaser sites out there. Oh, but they have too high self-esteem. I remember I saw this one clip on TV years ago, when I still watch TV, of some big fatty that must have been 450 pounds talking about how, I think I'll play her. I'm not going to settle for no man that wants me just because I'm fat. I know there's men out there that have fetishes. She was a black woman, so that's kind of how she talked. Fetishes. I don't want no man that wants me because I'm fat. He's just interested in me because of his fetishes. Fetish. She was saying fetishes. Is that a cheese? I've never heard of the cheese fetishes. It's not a cheese, dummy. Sounds like you're saying cheese. Anyway, yeah, amazing to me. So you're a big fat blob, and you want a man who is interested in you, not because he likes fat broads, which is pretty much akin to guys liking thin broads, which is pretty normal, but you want him to see past all your fat to what? More fat inside you? To your bones? You want him to see past all that and love you for you? Talk about unrealistic. This must be these broads. This 14% of young women that ain't getting laid must be those that not only are big fat blobs, but they have very high standards. I'm not going to sleep with a man who just wants me because he has a fetishes. Fetish, right? Wow. Whew. While Wilcox and Stone are focused on the frequency of sex as a key indicator of happiness, indeed, they argue that changes in sexual frequency can account for about 1/3 of the decline in happiness since 2012 and almost 100% of the decline in happiness since 2014. I want to pull out 2 other important facts about this piece. First, they are discussing the link between marriage and happiness. Here they are discussing the link between marriage and happiness. Okay. So, Controlling for basic demographics and other social characteristics, married young adults are about 75% more likely to report that they are very happy. Young adults. Yeah, they're newly married. They're newlyweds. They're still banging and boffing daily. They haven't hit that 18-month ceiling where it then drops off a fucking cliff, okay? Not only that, but how many, especially young men, are going to tell you, and they're interviewing them as couples, so, you got your wife sitting there. How many young men are going to say, with their wife sitting there, yeah, I'm very happy. How many of them are going to say, no, I'm unhappy? She'll fucking kill him during the interview. So I don't trust these self-reported figures, okay? Compared with their peers who are not married, according to our analysis of the GSS. It's very interesting how they're interviewing young newlyweds and not people that have been married 20 years. Could that be they can't find anybody that's been married that long? Why don't you try looking for people that have been married more than 10 years? I guarantee you're not going to find very many. Anyway, as it turns out, the share of young adults who are married has fallen from 59% in 1972 to 28% in 2018. Ooh, it's holy shit. It's dropped more than half. I'm internally cheering. This is great. Men are starting to wake up. 59 down from 59 to 28. Wow. Unbelievable. And second, they are describing the role of religious practice. Young adults who attend religious services more than once a month are about 40% more likely to report that they are very happy. Yeah, imagine that delusion can make you happy. Imagine that. Again, they're talking to young people. Talk to some older people. That's what counts. It's much, much easier to be happy when you're young. Give me a break. Why don't you talk to some older people, okay? Do that. Then get back to me and we'll see how happy they are. Religious people. Oh, boy. Yeah, they're dumb. They're dumb. Compared with their peers who are not religious at all, according to our analysis of the GSS. Ignorance is bliss. Stupid people follow gods. Yeah, there's some smart people, too, who have been indoctrinated, but I would argue that they're not really as bright as people think. People with very infrequent religious attendance are even less happy than never attenders. So what you're saying is, if I wanted to be happier, I should go to church. I don't think so. I'm happy enough. In terms of happiness, a little religion is worse than none. I don't think so. I don't think that embracing delusion and what could be on par with mental illness is happiness. I mean, consider it. All right? Let's say that you talk to an imaginary rabbit named Harry. And he's like your god. And he's your go-to guy to be your emotional tampon. Is that any different than talking to an imaginary man in the fucking sky that you believe created the whole fucking world based on no evidence? And that this guy controls everything. I guess that the embodiment, the actual physical representation of the, imaginary rabbit that maybe some people see makes it a little different, a little crazier, but not much. And by the way, there are a lot of people out there who say they've seen God, they've seen Jesus. Same thing. It's indistinguishable from mental illness. So I should embrace mental illness, essentially. Pass. So what's happening to religious attendance among young adults today? The share of young adults who attend religious services more than monthly has fallen from 38% in 1972. So at the exact same time, crazy intersectional feminism, rabid man-hating feminism was interjected into the social sphere, really, really pushed heavily. Church attendance dropped off significantly. I'm not surprised. Feminism is a religion. I mean, people don't seem to understand that. There's no evidence for the majority of shit these broads believe. They just take it on faith. Patriarchy! There's no evidence there's a patriarchy. In fact, there's a lot of evidence to point to the fact that there is no patriarchy. But of course, right. Religion just encourages delusion. So why is this so interesting? Well, for generations, key elements of our cultural and academic elite have been arguing essentially the opposite, that liberation from religion and liberation from marriage were prerequisites to true human flourishing. Let's forget the religious bullshit, okay? We don't need that. So, if you asked an early era sexual revolutionary for his prediction for a culture with profoundly less religious practice, less marriage, and many fewer moral restraints on sexual practice, I sincerely doubt that he'd respond that he believed that culture would be less happy with people having less sex. This article is already a little too wordy, somebody trying to sound cleverer than they actually are. That's certainly not the dominant message of Hollywood, which for years has portrayed religion as mainly negative and marriage as all too often dreary, contentious, and sexless. Why sexless? Because you're marrying the wrong people. Ask yourself, how many happy, sexually vibrant, religious married couples have you seen on popular television shows or movies? None recently. Even in this area of fragmented, targeted entertainment. None. Compare that with the numbers of times you've seen rebellion from religion glorified and religious leaders mocked and despised. Okay, first of all, religion does not bring happiness, all right? For dullards with low IQs, it gives them a sense of focus and direction in their lives and gives them some kind of code to follow because they've never put any deep critical thought into their morality or their ethics. So religion is a stand-in for that missing component that they haven't really considered, thought about, and constructed themselves or been taught outside of religion. So the problem isn't that, without religion, you wouldn't have these key moral and ethical guidelines. It's that we're not taught those. Too many people are not taught these things to begin with. I think most people are not taught these at all. So you don't need religion. You just need some parents teaching you to think logically, critically, giving you moral lessons, teaching you about morality. So we don't need religion, okay? We definitely don't need religion because all feminism is, that's just another religion, all right? All right. Oh, lost my place. Hold on. Okay, so ask yourself how many sexually vibrant, you haven't seen these people. Compare that with the number of times you've seen rebellion and religion glorified and religious leaders mocked and despised. And while marriage fares better on the big and small screens, single people are generally portrayed as so sexually active that they behave unlike virtually anyone you've ever known. The collective message that's been delivered is something like this. Singleness is exciting, religion is oppressive, and marriage is where you settle down, sometimes for good, sometimes for ill. Religion is oppressive. Right, because leftists hate religion, okay? Because it has a counter message, all right? One that favors traditionalism, especially Catholicism, Christianity. They don't like that, all right? They want you to do what their religion tells you, PC culture, not what your religion tells you, which is anti-PC culture. And I'm not for religion, by the way. I'm for people learning to think for themselves and develop their own moral compass so that you don't need some imaginary friend in the sky telling you what's right and wrong. And by the way, if you've ever read the Bible, it's in no way moral. Teaches you how to have slaves and gives you sets of rules and dictates on how to treat them. If you don't beat that slave to death, well, it's okay. If you kill the slave, that's bad. But if you beat the slave to within an inch of their life, but they survive, you're okay. Yeah. In reality, singleness is often stressful and lonely. No. Religion provides community and purpose. Yeah, so I want to eschew a damaging collective, soul-sucking, parasitical organism collective for another one that takes away my ability to think for myself. No, thank you. And married people enjoy the excitement of more sex. Come on, that's bullshit. That's not true at all. That wasn't even true back in the 1950s, where they often slept in separate beds that they would push together when they wanted to bath, which wasn't very often. More sex and the joys of unified child rearing. Moreover, it's fascinating, as Charles Murray explored in his book Coming Apart, The very cultural elites who so often denigrated the traditional life tend not to practice the libertarianism that they often preach, or at least accept. Well, of course, they're the ones that want to rule over you. So, they're exceptions to the rule, don't you know? Do as I say, not as I do. America's upscale blue havens feature an intense concentration of leave it to beaver intact families. Yeah, and gated communities. And gated communities that also have houses that themselves have walls. So double walls and concertina wire. And motion detectors all over the front and backyards and property. And lights that turn on when those motion sensors get tripped, even by a fucking squirrel. Yeah, but these people, these people are deciding for you. These people living in their little bubbles, right? I'm not a person who, and of course they don't want you to have the same kind of stability that they have and happiness that they have. No. Yeah. That's not possible. That's oppressive. That's evil. But it works for me. It just doesn't work for you poor people. I'm not a person who believes that good art must always endorse good values. But it would be nice if the dominant tone of our pop culture wasn't an outright lie. Well, take it from somebody who was alive. Well, okay, granted, I grew up during this sexual revolution bullshit, so my parents are probably a bad example of this. But if I took a look at my grandparents, I don't think there was a lot of boffing going on there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the fact that my grandmother was a cunt had something to do with it. But regardless. And that goes double for the world of higher education, which at least has aspirations for the pursuit of truth. No, it doesn't. Have you been to a university recently? They're just propaganda mills. They're just propaganda mills indoctrinating kids into leftist groupthink. Faith and family aren't guarantors of human flourishing. Nothing is. But our nation certainly feels their absence and our culture aches at their loss. Okay, so I agree with some of this and I disagree with some of it. First of all, I don't know why they felt the need to throw religion in there. And I'll admit, I have thought about this myself sometimes, that part of the reason, and I do think this is true, to a certain extent, but I don't think that, what I do think is true to a certain extent is that because less and less people are religious, that they're much more likely to go to the left, because religion used to give people a sense of meaning and direction in their lives, a ready-made manual to life. Don't have to think for yourself, and that's very attractive. And when you take that away, many people are and did seek that kind of direction and guidance elsewhere. And they found it in groupthink ideologies like leftism, cultural Marxism, feminism. Now, that's bad. You're replacing something that at the least in terms of Christianity, has seen a number of reforms in line with the Enlightenment over the centuries. The Catholic Church, if you were to go back to the 14th, 15th century, was horrible. Horribly oppressive. Murdering people as witches, killing hundreds of thousands of broads, most of them midwives, because these midwives were essentially competing with the male doctors of the time. So, they went to the church and colluded with the church and said, hey, church, I make my bread and butter mostly off of giving birth to babies. But now I got all these fucking midwives running around stealing my business. Can you label them as witches and kill them? And set up a series of tests that'll erroneously prove that they're witches so that I can get rid of the competition and make some real money? Okay. Tests like dunking. It is so funny. The way that they would test to see if somebody was a witch abroad, they would put her in a fucking chair. And they would put the chair in the water. And they would dunk her. And this is one way that they would test to see if she was a witch. There were others. So they would dunk her, and if she sank, she wasn't a witch. But if she floated, she was a witch. So essentially, if you were a fat woman, you were a witch because you got all this fat to hold you aloft, right? You're very buoyant, okay? So you die. Look, she's not sinking. Stoner! But if you sank, because, the idea was that if you floated, the devil, Satan, was protecting you because you'd made a pact with him. And so you were a witch and you were to be burned. Now, if you sank, that meant that you weren't a witch because Satan's not protecting you, but then you drowned. It's great. So either way, you died. And they had other methods, like, if you had a birthmark on you, a mole, that would be called a devil's mark, and they would test it. They created all these arbitrary tests that they made up, and whose requirements to prove that you were a witch they created. So, for example, they created this bullshit about how the devil's mark would feel no pain. So supposedly they had a tool that they would stick you with, a needle, and if you didn't react to the pain and you felt no pain, you were a witch and you would be burned. Of course, these tools were fakes, and they had a hollow handle, and it would look like the needle was going into you, and then it would look like they were pulling the needle out, and there would be no blood and no wound, and it's like, oh, she healed instantly and felt no pain, she's a witch. When really, no. It's just like those fake movie knives where the blade goes into the handle, but it looks like you stab somebody. It's all bullshit. Oh, boy. But yeah, back to the subject here. So religion's a type of panacea. It's a type of moral guide for people who have not been taught by their parents to think logically, critically, and given their own moral system, okay? It's really that simple. Secular morality, by the way, is far superior to religious morality. And the problem here isn't that people are being denied religion. They're just not being... They're not given something in its place, okay? So it used to be you had religion. At least you had something, right? And again, the church had experienced numerous reformations where they had to change their views in line with the changing public consciousness and awareness and prevalent beliefs in society. And so the church had to evolve along with society. Otherwise, they would go the way of the dodo. Because eventually society reached a point of enlightenment and moral understanding, without the church, by the way, which actually had to catch up with them. And the current moral understanding with the church, which still isn't on par with secular morality, by the way, because, it teaches things like condoms are evil. Even if you have AIDS, use a condom. It's still inferior to secular morality, but it's at least closer to being on par than it was, say, 500 years ago. Well, that evolution of morality came from secular humanism, came from secular morality and the Enlightenment. It wasn't spurred on by the internal structures of the church. It wasn't, people in the church weren't saying, I think we need to evolve our morality. I think we need to be more enlightened. No, they were dragged kicking and screaming into the modern world and forced to evolve, forced to reform. But at least they reformed, right? So at least you were given some kind of moral framework in the 40s and 50s and early 60s of America, because America is a Christian nation. It's mainly was founded by Presbyterians. It's not a Judeo-Christian, by the way. Jews did not found America. Okay, I get tired of this Judeo part of the Christian. Fuck off with that Judeo bullshit. America was mainly founded by Presbyterian Christians, okay? That's a fact. Fuck off with your Judeo bullshit. But anyway... at least you had something, okay, that was resembling a moral code, and it gave you some very clear guidelines that would ensure at least a certain base level of happiness, or if not happiness, at least contentment, and it also created a very strong, stable foundation for society. Once you got rid of that, what did you replace it with? Nothing. Parents who were not religious, they didn't replace it with secular humanism or secular morality. No. Well, what do you expect to fill the vacuum then? You're going to have this progressive bullshit. So that's the problem. The problem isn't that we got rid of religion. It's that we didn't replace it with anything, and then people are left vulnerable to collectivism and movements like progressivism. Anyway, let me know what you think. Give a call into the show. Give me a shout out on Skype. Yes, I know it's easier with a phone number, but I got rid of the phone number. So please feel free to Skype me at The Realist Philosopher. That is The Realist Philosopher. Yeah. Now, as for the marriage aspect of this article, well, yeah, that I agree with a lot of that. Okay, religion, marriage, how is that oppressive? I mean, really. The guy is going off to work all day. She's at home, comfortable, but bored. Don't don't mistake boredom for oppression, okay? Bored, raising the kids. Oh, that's so oppressive, yeah. But look at what you get in return, okay? You get kids that love you. And then you get grandkids that love you. And then when you're old, you've got these grandkids and these kids, and they have a family that you're now a part of. You've got something to give your life meaning later on. And if you already have found meaning in your own personal life, and you have hobbies and you have pursuits and you have things that you love to do that contribute to the meaning in your life, that's great. That's just an addition. Then your life is even more full. But telling women that not only is marriage not good for you, but it doesn't give you meaning, and it actually takes away meaning, it's somehow oppressive to you, bad for you, wow. I mean, no wonder people are less happy, especially women. Yeah, but I don't agree with the religious part of this article, not at all. But certainly the talk about, how women's liberation didn't actually liberate them. It just enslaved them. This is how the left works, see. They lie to you. They've been lying to women for a long fucking time. 60, 70 years, okay? Telling women that if they free themselves from the shackles of marriage, they'll be happy. They'll be free to pursue whatever they want to do, just like men have been free to. But that's not true. That's not true at all. Look at things from the man's point of view. How free is he? He's got to go to work. He's got to earn resources for a family. He's shackled to the family as much as you, the Wayman, are. But somehow he's free and liberated and you're not. This idea that women have been oppressed by men, it's a toxic idea, and it's not true. It's not true. Both men and women have been shackled to reality, to the circumstances of their existence since time immemorial. You have kids. You must provide for those kids. Somebody's got to take care of them while the father goes out and works, goes out and forages, goes out and finds resources. It's called reality. Reality is the real oppressor, okay? If you want to call it that, okay? I don't look at reality that way, all right? Reality just is what it is. You either deal with it, or you put your head under a rock, or you try to shape and mold and change it like these progressives, like these postmodernist fucking social reconstructivists try to do, to make it into what you want it to be. But reality is like a big piece of granite, and you've got no fucking stoneworking tools, okay? That's reality. It can't be reshaped. It can't be remolded. You don't have the tools to do so. It's not possible. You bang on that fucking big piece of granite with your fists, trying to chip it down and reshape it all you want. It's not going to happen. Not going to fucking happen. You're not even going to make a dent. Reality is immutable. I wish that these fucking progressive pinheads, who are really regressive people, would learn that lesson. Ah, boy. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying that getting married is the answer to happiness. Of course not. Arbitrary things like that outside of ourselves, things in and of themselves, they don't make us happy. They don't make us happy, all right? That said, believing that marriage in and of itself is somehow a prison and oppressive is a really bad idea. Anyway, I think I'm going to end the show on that note. Let me know what you think in the comments section. And please like and subscribe to my channel. And also check out my SoundCloud page. I post all of these live call-in shows. Well, you have to call in for it to be a call-in show. But hopefully more of you in the future will get Skype and call in. Had to get rid of the phone number. Too many trolls. That's life. Again, that's reality. That's reality. You roll with the punches that reality delivers to you, okay? So, yeah, please like, subscribe. And if you'd like to be on the show, first, get Skype. And second, if you'd like to talk about a more serious subject, because some people contact me with questions, some people contact me and want to discuss a deeper issue, a very specific subject, and want to get my insight into it, you can send me an email at admin@therealistphilosopher.com. That's ADMIN @therealistphilosopher.com. That is my email. You send me an email there explaining the problem, the issue, or the subject you'd like to discuss more in-depthly. Get my insight on during the show, and we'll set up a day and a time to have you come on the show, and then we'll discuss it. So that could be a lot of fun. Also, please consider donating to my channel. I always tell it like it is. I'm 100% raw, 100% real. You don't find that too often. So if you like what I'm doing, please consider donating. I'm also on DLive. You can go there and donate as well. DLive is a new platform, and the way it works is that you live stream to it, and once you get a minimum of 200 followers, you can upload videos as well. It's almost exactly the same as YouTube, except they've put a cap. They don't allow you to upload videos until you have a certain amount of followers. I'm assuming this is because they're still a small platform. They're still growing. And as you all know, memory costs money, right? It's very expensive to save videos, all right? So they've essentially put a qualifier on the ability to upload videos. You need to have a minimum of 200 followers. But you can stream there, and I'm streaming there right now, as well as some other platforms. I stream to multiple platforms. But I asked you to go follow me on DLive, okay? DLIVE, www.dlive.com. The link to my channel is in the description. The link to my DLive. Go there, sign up, subscribe. You can donate using PayPal, credit card. There's other methods. It gets converted into some kind of cryptocurrency and then put into my account. So I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. It's 100% anonymous. You don't need the cryptocurrency. They convert it into crypto, just PayPal or whatever. And also you can donate by going to therealistphilosopher.com/donate. That's therealistphilosopher.com/donate. That's my website. You'll also find all the links to all the different platforms I am on my website. And if you ever lose track of me, if something ever happens to my YouTube channel, you can find me there, therealistphilosopher.com/donate. And please consider donating because I could really use your help. And that's it, guys. Also, consider following me on social media. You can see all the links at the bottom of the page. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Gab, I'm on Instagram, and I'm very active on Facebook and Twitter. So you follow me there, you'll get a lot more of me in addition to this live stream. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you tomorrow at the same time. I am the Realist Philosopher, and I wish you a good day.